Paul, have you got any results from the women's game?
Yeah, I have. I've looked across them all, and it was a really busy week last week. But I focused mainly on the Tyrrell's Premiership, and there's two teams really that are, I think, to say they're flying high is an understatement. Both are 5 from 5, Harlequins and Wasps. Harlequins and Wasps, what am I talking about? Sorry, Harlequins and Saracens. But they're closely followed by the team new to that league, Gloucester Hartpury, who are 4 from 5, which is quite impressive when you consider that they have been promoted year on year since they started about 4 years ago. So very impressive. They're up there only a few points behind. And there's a bit of a log jam in the middle with the team stuck on 2 or 3. But there's still 2 to get off the mark, really. Darlington and Furwood. Both haven't won a game. They've drawn against each other, but otherwise they've lost. So hopefully next week they're going to put their foot on the gas and start to compete, because I don't know if there's any clause in this new Tyrrell's Premiership that you have to stay up there for a couple of years to bed in, because it is brand new. But if there is a possibility for them to come straight back down, that would be sad.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
You've been looking at the men?
Yeah, there were no real upsets over the weekend. I mean, National won, Coventry, just to continue to go forward. I mean, they remain unbeaten. They beat the Loughborough Students 36-0 at the weekend and retain the top spot. Lower down, well, not lower down, but second place Darlington, they lost away at Blackheath 39-24. So Blackheath now going to second place, and Plymouth, by virtue of getting a draw at home, which was quite a strange result actually against Old Elthamians, they move up to third place, and Darlington now go down to fourth. But it is Coventry really pulling away, I think, and you know, they're going to be. You're going to be hard pushed to catch them, I think, even at this stage. And I know we're only 8 games in. The North. Yeah, Stourbridge stay at the top. They beat Leicester Lions 27-13. They're going particularly well. Tynedale lost their unbeaten record, and they went down to South Leicester, but they retained second place in the league. And again, it's these two sides now. Despite Tynedale's loss, I suppose they could be caught by Sedgley Park. You know, it's mainly these two sides sort of pulling away. In the south, well, the big game really was Taunton, who for the first time had to play somebody in the top 5, and that was Canterbury, who have going particularly well. And quite a stormy day down there, as it was over most of the country. But they came away with a 19-14 win, Taunton over Canterbury. So yeah, they stay top. Chinner are unbeaten. They stay in second place by virtue of beating Broad Street 31-21. And Cinderford won away at Tunbridge, so they retain the third spot. So that there's only a point between each of those sides in the league at the moment. So that makes for interesting reading. But I said there were no surprises, but there were in the regional leagues. Barnes, who were top in that league, they went and played Westcliff and lost 13-12. So they've now moved down to fourth place. And Guernsey, who won, had a 38-17 win over Sidcup, now moved to the top of that league. In the Midlands, well, Birmingham Solihull remain unbeaten. They look particularly strong. They crushed Longton 48-5. The Peterborough Lions were unbeaten in second place, but they lost to Newport, who now actually occupy second place in that league. So that was a bit of an upset, I think, Peterborough losing. In the north, Preston Grasshoppers keep on winning, and they had a win 26-8 at Rosendale. And surprisingly, Lymm actually drew away at Kendal. And now they would have been favourites to win that. They were top of the league, but now they've changed places now with Preston. So again, these leagues are quite close. In the southwest, Stings look to have played their last game at the old facility, which we were discussing. They played Bracknell. They had a convincing win over Bracknell, 29-7. So they retain leadership of that league. Bracknell will put down in the relegation zone. And Newton Abbott they won at Lydney, never an easy place to go to. They had a 17-11 win at Lydney. So they stay in second place. But again, these two sides starting to open a little gap.
A gap, yeah.
But
pulling away.
You know, yeah, we'll see how it pans out. But what you and I are going to have to do eventually is start making predictions. Otherwise,
I feel sorry for the clubs when that happens.
Otherwise, the seasons will be over.
You sparked a memory for me then when you were talking about Plymouth earlier on.
Oh, yes.
I remember a certain person. Oh, yes, it was Jack, just before the beginning of the season, predicting Plymouth.
Yeah, that was his tip for the top.
Hit tip for the top.
Yeah,
and,
but we won't dwell on that.
No.
We won't dwell on that. Generally, just down the leagues, I had a look at some of the lower levels, and Rugby Lions, who have had more resurrections than Lazarus,
they've
been wound up, whatever, have started at the bottom again. They're up in Midlands West.
Yeah, they're doing well.
And they're in third place, and they had a win over Sutton Coldfield, 32-11. It's interesting, Sutton Coldfield a couple of years ago were in the National League, and they've beginning to go down. Some other names that used to feature at the top end of the game in Lancashire, there's wins for Broughton Park, who are top of their Lancashire and Cheshire League, and Liverpool St Helens, who are in third. So, you know, they're starting to make a mark again. And a very interesting result. Canterbury have had a great season so far. Yeah. Unbeaten, averaging about 40 odd points a game. They went and played London Exiles, who were in the lower half of the league, and they were turned over 24-10 by London Exiles. So that was an interesting game. And in Hearts, Middlesex, level 9, our old friends London Welsh, they're in second place. They've lost a game, and the leaders of that league who are unbeaten are Bank of England. But we won't make any observations about the payment of players. But the fixtures now are coming up this weekend. I think there's an interesting one in National 1. Bishop Stortford against Old Elthamians, a local derby. Stourbridge, in top of National 2 North, are at home to third place Sedgley Park. So that will be an interesting one. And lower down in London 1, Chingford, who top London 1, play Amersham and Chiltern, who are in second place. So there's some good rugby to watch this weekend, and make sure you get out and support your local club. I hope you enjoyed the programme. Thank you.
Cheers.